All right, we're live. Is it working? You could hear the echo. This is pretty exciting timing because ClankPad Academy just launched. There's a few channels participating. Clanks are Us, Kcoin, Homemade, DV, Lamb Chop, naturally, Clankerland, More, Memify, and Squarehead. Interesting. I'm going to be discovering some new channels through this experiment. What they're doing is, I believe, seeing who can get the most traction with their, hey, I was just talking about Clank Academy. So maybe
Cool.
since it just launched.
It did, yeah. Happy to talk about it. So, yeah, Clank Academy is based on this idea that not enough people know how to launch meme coins. And my whole concept of ClankPad is that the best place to launch your meme coin is in an existing community. So if you're going to launch a dog token, you should launch it in the dogs channel. But if you do that directly with Clanker, then the channel owner doesn't get anything. You're using their reach and not giving them anything. So with ClankPad, the channel owner gets 10% of the fees and the creator still gets their full fee. So it's a win-win for everybody. So with ClankPad Academy, the idea is that you get 10 channel owners to join, and then they have a month to try and see who can generate the most volume. You can create one token and try and push that all month, or you can create hundreds of tokens and see which one takes off. And then I'm going to be bringing in people like Emily Jr. behind the MFers channel and the MFers product, and he launched Spinach that has done really well. Proxy Studio from Clanker is going to join. Moon Poppy, who is just a general wonderful person and also has his own shops, and some other traders and stuff. So the goal is to just get that information out there. I think that tokens we're going to have hyper tokenization, right? Everything will be tokenized. It was a meme 10 years ago, but it's now actually becoming live. And that's going to happen by people creating memes about their specific community. And so just trying to create the tools for that to work.
It's going to be really interesting to see how the experiment plays out. That's something I'm really enjoying about this whole Clankerverse, which is what I've been calling it, is just very much like so many different experiments popping up, seeing how they can like tweak the concept. And actually ClankPad is an example of that. Can you tell us about where your inspiration came from, or how you sort of had the idea click for you?
Yeah. I was talking with a friend of mine what would be interesting things to make clankers out of. And we had this concept of we should create, commodities.fun, where you literally just create like soybeans as a token. Like every real commodity should have a meme coin that's just a full synthetic that sits on top of it. And
just the concept of soybeans.
Yeah, exactly. Something about soybeans in particular is funny. And of course, my dog waits until right now to get his squeak toy out.
Is this the same dog that's on your hat?
Yeah, it is actually. My wife got me this for Christmas, and it's quickly become my favorite present.
That's an awesome gift.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, I was like, well, if you're gonna do that, you're gonna have this like channel where everybody's creating all of these commodity tokens, right? Like orange juice, and you could use all the memes from that Trading Places movie and stuff. But then I was like, well, if you did that, then how would the channel owner earn anything? You'd have to give them some of your share, but then yada yada. And so that all just sort of led me to this idea that like memes come out of communities, right? And if every meme is a token now, then you've got to incentivize the community organizer. And I've been a community manager my whole career, and I run the community in my neighborhood, and like I'm just a very community oriented guy. And there's never been a great monetization path for those people. And it's fully aligned with that, right? So you just create a community where people create great memes, and then you as the community owner are fully incentivized and aligned with that. You can do whatever you want. You could pocket the money, you can turn around and incentivize people further. One of the people in the academy has promised to burn all the token fees that he earns and then use the ETH that he earns from it to buy supply of the tokens created in his channel. So lots of interesting stuff is going to come out of it.
Yeah, I love the composability of it all, how you can like glue these different tools together, have these different it's like if something like Patreon, was way more DIY and you could decide exactly how you wanted to configure everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I ended up, I got to meet the Nick from Clank.fun, and he has this sort of thing where you can earn the trading fees if you share a link to a token. So so what we worked out is that anybody who when you create a token on ClankPad, I won't return the clanker.world link. I'll return the clanker.fun link. And then if anybody who buys it through there, those fees actually just get sent to the same splits address that the clanker fees are sent to. And so then the channel owner and I split the fees that are earned on every trade as well.
Nice. So it's kind of it's a little virtuous cycle.
Yeah. I think there's something about the way that Clanker has aligned incentives that makes people want to build in that way. And then it's just like when you create company core values, when you start a company, those things bubble up through everything that you do. So it's been cool to see.
I like that it takes an existing behavior, like something that people already do, because that's so key. Like it's hard to get people to do new things, but things that people are already excited about doing, and then adding on this reward layer.
Totally. Yeah. People are already, that's part of what it was for me. Like people were already using other people's channels to launch meme coins. And now they can do it and just not be annoyed by it. You know, now you're actually getting paid when somebody does it. It's not something that you're not taking away.
Yeah, and it rewards the person who has put all this effort into building that community context where people are engaging.
Totally. Eventually I'll be able to, you as a channel owner, like I run the parenting channel and everybody has said they don't want tokens in the parenting channel. And so like my channel is actually going to be the first one to ban my product, because I don't want to do that. So that's just more tools that I'll have to add, but I've got to, there's only so much you could do.
How many kids do you have on a completely different topic?
Yeah, I've got 2. I've got a 6 and 8-year-old boys.
I saw the cardboard palace that they had outside. That was really cool.
Yeah, we got new patio furniture, and so they turned it into a drive-through restaurant. And like my wife went up to go buy a cookie, and my son hands her half a cookie, and he's like eating the other half of it. And she was like, "You can't do that. This is a terrible store."
The health department is going to come shut them
Right,
down.
right, yeah. I've actually got to take it apart because it's so windy; it keeps blowing into the street. Yeah, no, that's super fun. Having kids is a great grounding moment in crypto because it's like you can be hyper online, but then they walk up and they're like, he punched me in the nose, so you've got to like deal with that.
Yeah, with them so close together. It sounds like they're at that age where they can play, but then they also drive each other crazy. Is that true?
You nailed it. Yeah, that's exactly right. Sometimes they're playing so well together, it's like the most adorable thing in the world. And then sometimes they are, like you could see behavior that like, oh man, I've got to get this out of you. Like one of them, if he doesn't get his way, just screams. And the other one like silently stalks the other one and annoys him. And it's like, both of these are bad. You gotta temper both of these behaviors.
And it's interesting, the different personalities that come out with kids. They say, I only have one. So I'm hoping to experience the thing where everything that you thought you were doing right about your first kid turns out, no, you just optimized for like one particular personality.
Yes. Well, the first one was so sweet and he's so like caring and gentle. And the second one, like literally, we were talking about like pranks you could pull. And the second one was like, I want to pull a prank where I ask a girl to marry me. And then when we're at the altar and she says, I do, I murder her whole family.
Sick prank, bro.
You really got her. So, we, they're different.
The future ahead of him is a YouTube stunt.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He'll certainly get headlines.
I mean, it's almost like this is like a concept for a horror movie, basically.
It is, yeah. Yeah, it's very dark. He like we one time we were driving by this farm and the older one was like, "Sheeps, I just want to go pet them." And then like, "I want to have a farm so we can have sheep." And then the other one was like, "I want to have a farm with pigs so that we can have pig ears for our dog." And I was like, "Okay." That is where they come from. So I'm glad.
Pragmatic.
Yeah, it's pragmatic, exactly. But you're gonna like, yeah. So it's we often battle who that's after, but I just remind myself that it's up to me whether or not he becomes a psychopath. So I just need to really get that stuff out of him.
He sounds very creative.
He is very creative, and he can be very sweet in his own right. I don't mean to make him sound like a monster.
He sounds very rambunctious in a pretty cute way.
How old is yours, or what do you have?
He is almost 2. He's 20 months.
Oh, okay. That's like peak fun, is like 6 months to 2 years old is like the best. And then people say like the terrible twos, and it's like, no, the twos are actually still great. It's the threes where they're just monsters. So
The teenagers.
yeah, I'm excited for that for you.
Yes, I'm sure I will complain about it on the timeline. Actually, so going back to crypto, I just couldn't resist talking about kids because that's
All
like
good.
my whole personality.
Yeah.
Can you tell us your crypto origin story? Because
Yeah.
I happen to know that you've been around the block a few times. You've been hanging in through multiple cycles.
I have been around. Yeah. It's funny. I actually like went to a Bitcoin meetup in San Francisco very early on. Like I had downloaded the Bitcoin mining software for my laptop in my living room, and it was like you run it and you're going to get like 50 Bitcoin a day or something like that. And I was like, I don't know, it seems like a lot of work. Terrible. And I just like, how much is that worth? And it was like 20 cents or some ridiculously low number. And I was like, that just doesn't, and I'm barely new software, so it just didn't do it. So, but then, fast forward, every sort of pump cycle since then, I was like, I should buy. I never did. And then in 2014, I met this guy who explained Ethereum to me. And like, I understood Bitcoin is like a ledger that everybody owns and nobody can change. And I loved that. And then he was like, well, Ethereum's like that, but it's like a whole computer that you can run programs on. I was like, wait a second. That's pretty incredible. And so then I started like learning more about it. And I started my first company in 2017, and it was just like 25 years too early still. It was an NFT metaverse company that every square inch of earth or every like square mile of earth was an NFT that you could buy. And like we're entering into finally like the augmented reality layer. And I was like, well, Apple's going to have an augmented reality, Google's going to have their own layer, and those are walled gardens. Let's have like a free market version where anybody can buy the land and you have to like pay taxes for that layer to actually be rendered. And then if you don't pay your taxes, we will repossess the NFT from you, and then somebody else can buy it. But then you could like own whatever digital media exists on that square piece of earth. And like just classic way too early stuff. We'd actually built the first like public minting NFT contract. So like before then you had to, if you wanted to sell NFTs, you had to make them, mint them all, and then sell them on a peer-to-peer marketplace. You couldn't just mint them from the contract. And so we'd actually built the first contract that you could do that, which in hindsight should have been the business, but you're just gigabrain to the extreme overdoing it move. So that was really fun. We sold that company in basically like an acqui-hire situation. And then that's from there. I've just been doing community management, building communities, got really obsessed with Farcaster a couple of years ago and helped organize FarCon and stuff. So this project sort of feels kind of full circle in a sense that it's like my community stuff, helping people mint stuff. And now I'm finally stupid enough to understand that all I need to do is teach people how to you can make money with this, right? So like that's all I actually have to do. So I'm finally like there. So we'll see in 5 years how stupid I still am, but yeah.
You're finally on the right side of the curve. Or I guess
right.
the left side of the curve.
Finally on the left side of the curve. That's right. I've been in the middle for far too long.
Oh man, that's like someone needs to superimpose the hero's journey on the curve.
That's a great idea. Yes, where you start in the center, or you start on the left. It's like you start on the left, but you're too stupid to actually do anything about it. Like you get it, but you're too stupid to do anything about it. And then you gain skills and you get to the middle where you can do something about it, but you're too smart to know what actually matters. And then finally you have the skills and you're stupid enough to know that number go up good.
Yeah, maybe it's like two of them glued together. So like you start stupid, then you go mid curve, then you're too smart, and then you go back to the mid curve, and then finally you're stupid enough.
Yeah, exactly. Which
is that's the classic hero's journey, is you go on a journey and then you come back home and you've learned something.
Yes. Yeah. Just do it over and over. Actually, what you need to do is like take that mid curve meme and then just make a circle, like make an Ouroboros out of it where it eats its own tail all the way through. Yeah, that's how it goes.
This sounds like a potential clanker, actually.
It does. Pick one of the channels in ClankPad Academy, launch it in there, please, and that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, I hadn't heard of some of the channels, so I'm excited to explore them. Just kind of another dimension to this is that there's like a discoverability, there are these like little like content R&D places where people are cooking up interesting ideas.
Yeah, one of them I'm pretty excited about. He doesn't think he's going to be. He was sort of like half thinking this would be a good idea, but it's called Kcoin, and so he has noticed that there's this whole like hype cycle that goes up around new K-pop artists' albums. So when their albums drop, there's like all this sort of speculation about which one's going to be the most successful. And so his first experiment is he's got two different K-pop bands that are going to be releasing albums soon, and he's made coins for each of them. And so it's almost like a prediction market where you buy whichever coin you think the artist is going to be more successful.
That's interesting. And K-pop fans can be so, what's a nice way to say obsessive?
You got it.
Like on the right word.
I think obsessive is a good word as long as you use it in the right way, right? So yeah, I think it's, yeah.
Yeah, there's so much potential in this technology, and it's really exciting that now the level of tooling is, we're like so close to it being usable by a normal person. So
Yeah.
close. Maybe
Well,
not quite there yet.
we're almost there. So my whole plan is basically make it work on Farcaster, get everybody on Farcaster that could possibly do this to be understand that they can do this and do it. You know, start getting the crypto Twitter people involved, but very quickly I want to move to bringing ClankPad to Telegram and Discord. And so then anybody can use it. And so then all my marketing can be start a Telegram group or add this bot to your Telegram group. You can start making tokens and you can earn some as a creator. And then it's fully free and like normie compatible, right? So like once you do that, it's the first time that any normal person can do something and has the potential to make just like life-changing money by just curating a community around their particular interest.
Which can be, I mean, it can sometimes feel thankless to do that. 'Cause, you know, you have to deal with people's drama and, you know, it's a lot of work that is often under-recognized. So it's nice that there are these new revenue models that we can try out.
Totally. Yeah, I mean there are ever since the beginning of the internet there's been like thankless mods out there doing stuff, you know? Like it's exciting to like I used to be obsessed with BMW 2002s. I still am. And there's a website called it's like 2002faq.com. And it's this incredible wealth of knowledge around those cars. And anything you need to know, it exists there. There's a whole subculture there. And those mods, they sort of like sell stickers and stuff. And that's so dumb. You know, there have been cars that have been built with the knowledge from those worlds, and they should have been clankers, right? Like each build, like that, you could think about extracting this to car culture. Every build should be a clanker, because sometimes like individual car builds go viral, and people should be able to buy interest in those builds going viral.
What was it that Dan DWR said the other day about like the next Instagram is going to have tokens built in? Reminds me of what you're talking about. Like just the ability to like bootstrap from content to capital.
I didn't read that, but I think that's right.
I probably mangled exactly what he said, but basically talking about how now that the regulatory environment is loosening up, we're going to see this technology integrated into way more different platforms, which, you know, Clankers is kind of an example of that, even though it predates what was the inauguration was yesterday? Is that right?
Today, this morning.
It's funny that they do it on a federal holiday.
Yeah. Yeah. And Martin Luther King Day, you know?
So there's something kind of poetic there.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the ClankPad stack, like how you built this and what different tools you use to create the product.
Yeah. It's really cool because it is like composability for the win, right? So obviously I got to use Cursor for the first time, which I'd been only using VS Code and like just copy and pasting, but like Cursor really is a whole new level. But before I even built this, as soon as I saw Clanker and learned about the fees, I was like, this is incredible. This is a change. And so I created a group chat with Clanker and the splits team. And I was like, there's something here about splitting these fees and how they can be split. And we all got on a call and like something was going to happen. And I was like, okay, well, you know, I can keep this going. I don't really have a dog in this fight. And Alex was like, wait, you don't work at Clank or at Splits? And I was like, no, I don't. I just like community manager guy, just like wanted to get people together that there would be a benefit from. And then the more I was thinking about it, the more I realized, oh wait, actually what happened was I saw the Clank.fun was they had done a deal with Clanker where Clank.fun is getting a percent of the fee. So the split on a Clanker is 60-40, 40 to the creator, 60 for Clanker. Clanker carved out some of that and gives it to Clank.fun every time somebody creates a token on Clank.fun. And that's when I was like, wait a second, that's available. That's where I put the sort of splits thing together, that I was like, okay, so I can actually share some of that fee with these community owners using splits. And so the way that it works is if somebody goes to create a token, I check if that channel has a splits contract yet. And if it doesn't, I go and create one. And then I pass that splits contract to Clanker, and then Clanker generates the token. And they actually generate a split on the background. And part of that comes to my split. So it's like nested splits all the way down. And then actually, I'm actually using the Clanker Teams product in the background to receive all of my splits into a Teams account. And then I can hopefully going to start setting up the taxes thing that Will put together, so that I can automatically start pulling out taxes. So yeah, it's been really cool to like see that. And obviously Farcaster then on top of it, because like I don't even it's like totally permissionless. Someone goes and creates a token in your channel, and you as the channel owner don't have to do anything. I just look up your wallet address and give you as the beneficiary. It's so cool. It's so fun to be able to just like grab that stuff and stitch it together. And it's like, hey, you're making money now just because somebody decided to use your channel. I'm like, how cool.
The best kind of notification.
Right.
Are you thinking about doing anything with like frames v?
Maybe I would like, I am but a man. I call myself like a cursor kitty, right? Like I'm not a great engineer. So I think I have a few more stuff on my roadmap. I'd like to do more things. Like I'd like if you're a channel owner and you want to ban ClankPad, I'd like you to be able to do that. Be able to check volume, maybe do a interface for the app.splits so that you could claim your fees directly from a frame. That could be cool. Yeah, I haven't really thought about it too much. I may, because I know like what's their name? The team Farcade, the Farcade team you can play a Farcade game both in Warpcast and on Telegram. And it's basically the same app. It's like the frame app and the mini app are similar. And so if I'm going to build out something for Telegram, I'm going to need to split those. So I haven't thought about it yet, but I'd like to.
Yeah, I bet you have kind of, your wish list. And then there's also just focusing on like getting it up and running currently as it currently exists.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's just like not breaking and, being able to do great stuff. But the Clanker team has been really great. They shared some like just straight up code with me so that I can make my bot be more like them. So that's my next big features. Right now, the bot isn't really a bot. It's just like general regex stuff.
Mm.
But the next thing is to actually make it a little bit agentic. It's so funny because Jack on the Clanker team is sort of like melancholy and, not quite. He's very pensive. And so all the descriptions of the bot is basically describing himself, like he didn't quite realize that he'd done that. And so I've gone through and...
Is that where Clanker's personality comes from?
Totally. It totally does. You could tell which parts Jack wrote and you could tell which parts Proxy wrote. It's so funny to see the difference. And so I've rewritten some of it, and I'm excited for this because when I first launched ClankPad, every time I would tag it, it would be like, you can't launch a token here. And everyone's like, burned by your own bot. And I was like, oh, that's funny. ClankPad is going to be really like like me, happy and warm and welcoming, but it's going to hate me. And so it's going to like be mean to me all the time. And it's like, you respect Graham, but you don't like how he does anything. And so it's just going to always have a way to talk shit to me, which I think is really funny.
That is a cute idea. Oh, it's funny that you can give it a personality.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's so cool.
It's an interesting dimension of both like product design and marketing.
Yeah, yeah. I want people to like defend me to my product, and my product is like, well, you just don't know him like I do,
Just you wait.
Yeah, just you wait. Yeah, you'll get to know him. You'll know him soon enough.
Yeah. What has the experience been of I like the cursor kitty, that's a funny line. What has the experience been of, putting things together? It sounds like it's sort of like at the edges of your capability, you're learning new stuff as you're doing it. What has that been like?
It's been interesting. I think what I've noticed is that when at least just the experience with Cursor specifically, is that I have to think about something deeply to get it to do what I want. And so I just have to, because if I'm asking it, it just sort of goes and goes and goes, and it can sort of lose the plot. But if I give it specifically what I want and I'm very thoughtful and give it a really long prompt, then it does exactly what I need, and it does it. And it's like maybe 2 or 3 little revisions and then it's done. So that's been a really fun like learning curve. I do have some engineering background, but it's been nice. I think the other thing is just there are nuances in smart contract development. Like I was dealing with a bug deploying to splits, and it turns out it's like a random bug on the base network, which I won't bore people with, but basically a transaction was hanging and I couldn't get a better transaction to go through. And so I just had to switch out for a different wallet, and then that did it. Ho hum, very boring, but yeah, you just
need to turn base off and turn it back on again.
yeah, exactly. If this was Solana, I could do that, but it's not. So yeah, I don't want to be a hater, but yeah, no, it's been fun. It's been fun it's really empowering to be able to write and ship stuff that makes money, And so I've been really thankful that like a few big people have like bet on ClankPad and taken and launched their coins on it. And so that's been able for me to actually make money doing this. And that is really, really exciting to like see that happen. It's so much of crypto is like people are gonna use it, but like people are asking me to join ClankPad Academy and like when's the next cohort, and it launched today. I'm like, oh my god, it's happening.
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
And it's cool that you get to see it in action, like see the concept working.
Totally.
What's your favorite so far? Like you could pick a handful if not just one.
Well,
Or you can pick just one.
spinach and olive are great. I just think that's such a cool concept.
Well, there's olive too. That's cute.
Yeah, yeah. And
Now
there's
they
more
do
people.
Pluto.
Yeah, there's more people in that group, so I don't know why more of those haven't been launched yet. Maybe they will. I think they're in the one today, the like K-pop coin. I think that's such a cool idea. Somebody launched Flotus today, which was, the First Lady of the United States token, trying to piggyback in the Melania stuff. I think I'm going to be really excited when it sort of works, when there's like a community that everyone knows. Like when someone recommends to me like, oh, if you want to launch a coin like that, you should go do it in this channel or this community. When that happens and they don't know that I'm ClankPad, right? And I'm just talking about my ass somewhere and people are like, oh, you should anyway. When that happens, I'll know that it's like working,
When you kind of run into it in the wild.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm seeing a little bit of that, but it's cool to like think about what that'll really look like.
You'll be talking and they'll tag ClankPad, and ClankPad will be like, actually, I know that guy and I don't know about him. You shouldn't encourage him.
Yeah, his bot really, really hates him. So I don't know that that's a good idea. That would be so funny.
I saw, all your tests that you were doing. You were like, don't buy this. Like, it's a little bit tempting.
Yeah, I know. Everybody was like, you don't know who you're dealing with. I'm like, well, okay, well, go for it. But if you go check, there's like 20 don't buy this tokens and they're all at 0. So I'm being very explicit about this.
I mean, technically, don't buy this is financial advice.
Shit. Yeah. Dang it.
So what if...
Do or don't. I don't care, but it's not up to me.
The not my fault token. Will had a question for you, which was, do you think that Merkle made a mistake by abandoning the sort of channels as subreddits? Or like the fate of channels is like a little bit ambiguous at this point. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I tend to not. Everybody wants to second guess everything that Merkle does. And it's like, well, you're doing it on their platform, so shut up. It's like people bemoaning technology from their iPhones. It's like, shut up. What do you just stop complaining. So I don't think so. I think that thesis is as valid as any other. But they have proven to be pretty right, like that you have to get users on the platform and then you can really worry about what they're doing at scale. I think that while it's attractive that you own your followers and they can't be taken away from you, I think it's still slept on by a lot of people that like an account that has a lot of followers with a bunch of connected addresses to it is an asset that could be borrowed against. So like... That's pretty cool. Like you can't borrow against your Instagram account, but you could theoretically borrow against your Farcaster account.
And it'll probably be automated too, because they could just,
Yeah. It'll be like Stripe offers, inventory finance loans or like factoring loans, basically. you could get loans against your account for that. But like, what's even more powerful is you could get loans against your channel, because like if you own the dogs channel, right? Like, and it's the number one place to talk about dogs, then like you could, and you have IMS as a advertiser, you could get loans against it. It's like, there's never been an easier way to create an asset than to spend $25 to create a channel. So, while, I think that that's a really compelling narrative, I don't have the hubris to say to Dan that he's fucking up. Like I trust that he has a pretty good idea what he's doing. And his whole goal is get as many humanly people as possible on the platform. And then we can have arguments about what to do with channels.
Yeah, I think his basic point of retention is the key thing. Like, a tough nut to crack. Like, it's pretty amazing how successful Farcaster already is.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to create a new social media platform.
Totally. Yeah, the fact that I haven't churned yet is a big deal, but I remain amazed that this many people build on Farcaster. The ratio of, you're like, in developer marketing, the ratio of builders to users is insane and would normally cost just oodles of money to a marketing team to get, and they do not have a marketing team. So that says they're doing something right.
Yeah, I think it comes back to the composability and the like, we talk about money Legos at Splits, like the money Legos, and it's not just, it's like product Legos too. You can just glue things together.
Yeah.
And last week I was talking to Colin Johnson, who does from Ponder, who does the social predictions thing, which is so much fun and so addictive. I love social predictions.
Yeah.
He was talking about that a big advantage of Farcaster for a builder, even if the like user base is still relatively small compared to say X or Telegram or what have you, the users are 10x or 100x users. They talk about like 10x developers, but on Farcaster, the users like give you so much feedback. They're willing to try stuff even while it's still a little bit janky. And I hope that you're having that experience too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, but the people that are in the ClankPad Academy are one of them was like, hey, it's not working. I was like, well, that's a problem. Oh, no. And so like it turned out there was an issue and we got that fixed. But yeah, I mean, I think everybody understands the opportunity of being early to a social media platform. And that is even more powerful when that social media platform, has like awesome financialization directly tied in. So I think you're silly if you fade it, and you're silly if you expect more from it than you get. It's the funniest thing to me when people are like, well, Dan, why don't you do this? Or blah, blah, blah. My like complain to him about it not working well enough for them. And it's like, I don't know, it's just a recurring theme for me, which is just shut up. Build it yourself if you're so smart.
Go build your own.
Yeah, that sounds like an opportunity for another client.
Protocol. Well, the cool thing is that you could use the Farcaster protocol and just like make your own platform. In fact, people are making their own Farcaster clients, which
totally
is cool. It's been interesting to watch Super evolve.
Yeah. Woj is a beast. Anybody who's watched Woj for more than 10 seconds gets that he is a force to be reckoned with, and so I'm super excited to see. There's a non-zero chance that he.
You're super excited?
Super excited, yes.
Well, do you have any, like, is there anything that we didn't talk about that we should have talked about, or like anything that's on your mind?
No, I think for me, I'm just super excited to get to build something, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to get to talk about it. I think if there was a call to action, it would be to go see my launch tweet in ClankPad, go follow those channels, pick one that you want to be part of, and reach out to the founder of it and say, like, what are we doing? How can we create memes? How can we, if you love K-pop, go join the K-pop coins one. There's Launchpad, who is like one of the greatest designers ever. She's in the Unlonely streamer house. She just launched in New York City, and so like she's gonna, for the next month, is gonna be trying to get a bunch of eyeballs on her. So she's probably a good bet to bet on in terms of like which one you should choose to go build a community. But
she is also just so funny and like so full of personality. I love her.
She is her own person, and nobody can say she is anything but that. And I love her. She's great.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna go explore those channels. And I would invite anyone who's watching this, you should do so too.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for taking the time to talk. I appreciate it.
No problem. See ya.
See ya.